Hey, welcome along to another episode of Behind the Bar podcast, brought to you by the coaches and clients of RT Fitness Durham, Sunderland, and of course the Barbell Club, where we take you from complete beginner to photo shoot ready. So if you need any information on our programs, there's a link below. Click that, it'll go to the call booking system. Get on the phone with Sarah. She'll talk you goals, program details, and pricing options. So click the link and we'll get you sorted. On today's episode, we have old client Mike Wardley. Been with us a few years, and this episode is more about following your passion, following your dreams. It's something what I'm really interested in, obviously from going self-employed 11 years ago, whatever it was, to obviously building up the units as we do now and building the business out. One of the hardest things I think about doing stuff like this is putting yourself out there in the social media world, in front of people, and just putting yourself out there and trying not to give a shit about what other people think. So Mike's journey, his fitness journey was fantastic, but we didn't even talk about his fitness journey. This is him he's always had a passion of being a comedian and doing stand-up comedy. And over the last few years, he's just really put himself out there, gone for it. I've seen this evolve over this time. And I'm sure I think he's got about 70 shows under his belt now, and it's just such a privilege to watch and obviously to hear his side of the story on him pushing himself all the way through this. I think I'm waffling on a bit here, but I really enjoyed this one, and Mike is super nice guy and really love talking to him, so enjoy this one. Right then, who is Mike Wardley?
Oh, straight in with that.
Yes, who is he?
Mike is, I'm not talking in the third person. That's
yeah.
Weird. So I'm that's not what I was expecting you to start with.
Were you not?
No.
An intro and stuff like that, but
Mike, married to Kelly. I've got two little boys, Ollie and Teddy, 12 and 6.
Mint names.
Yeah. Ollie is autistic, so it can be a bit of a handful, can be difficult, but we manage all right. Me as a person, I work full time during the day in marketing, but then I'm also I suppose you could say semi-professional comedian now, because I'm starting to get paid for it.
Yeah, brilliant.
I do a lot of live comedy. What do you want? How much info do you need from us?
That was it, really. I suppose that's it. Because I think it's always one of them ones where it's like, who is it? And it's like, you're thinking shit, what do I say? Because obviously the context of probably today, I'm interested in people's passions and for them to pursue them. Obviously
from the comedy side.
Yeah, so from me, like I did that a long time ago myself, do you know what I mean? And I love it when I see people just fucking going for it. Or like I see just even on my estate, there's a young lad going around asking if people want the grass cut.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? He's just going for putting himself out there and stuff like that. And obviously from what I've seen from you, I mean, I don't know if you'd started comedy just before I met you or what.
Yeah, it was.
Was it just before?
Oh, no, it was a month after, I think.
It was very close.
Yeah, it was. I think my first gig was November 2019.
Right.
It was 2020 when I started here. But because of lockdown, I'd only done like 3 gigs or something.
Had you?
So I'd hardly done any gigs before I met you. Yeah. So it was still relatively new.
So this is what I love, and obviously I've seen you do it, and I've seen you put yourself out there, and I know how hard it is to put yourself out there and all the rest of it. So when did you start comedy?
Well, yeah, it was November 2019.
Right.
So it was something I'd wanted to do for like years and years, and just never had the balls to do it. And then I got targeted from an ad on Facebook, a bit like starting here. Got targeted by an ad that was doing like a...
And you work in marketing.
I know. They were doing it was for charity. So what you had to do is you paid like a sign-up fee, and then there was a professional comedian who did like 7 workshops in the run-up to an event. You had to raise money for charity and then sell tickets for the charity as well to do the gig. I thought, well, if I'm shit, at least I'm raising money for charity at the same time. So that was how it started.
Right.
But yeah, it was November 2019 was the first gig.
So why Why did you start it, like, completely? Because it wasn't for the charity, obviously. I've
always loved it. Always
Right.
loved like stand-up, comedy in general, like comedy on TV and comedy films and stuff. But stand-up comedy, just don't know. I always watch people and think, God, that's to have that many people just like you've got them in the palm of your hand. Like, and if you get them all to laugh, it's just like the best feeling in the world. I thought I really want to try that. And like loads of people say, I'm funny when I'm around my mates, I'm in the pub and stuff like that, but it's completely different. That's not the same as getting up on stage. But I think what always put us off is that I can be quite funny in conversation, like reacting to what other people are saying, but I'm the complete opposite on stage. Like with hecklers, I don't know how to handle them and stuff yet. It's really, really weird. But I just always wanted to do it, just always had the urge to do it, but never had the balls to. And then it was this charity thing that thought, fuck it, just go for it.
So was it, how old then? When
I wanted to do it? From being like 17, 18.
Really?
Aye.
Right.
And then I was, 2019, 35 when I started, when I did my first gig. Yeah. So I wanted to do it for like nearly 2 decades and didn't have the balls.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just bit the bullet.
So in between that time, did you have anything like wrote up, or was it like once you seen this thing, it was like, fuck it, let's write a set up?
I had loads of notes, so I probably started making notes about 10 years ago.
Right.
Like just in my phone, just little ideas. I think that's quite funny, that would work, that. And then like notes, I'm going to show you. I won't show you what they all are, but these are just like, whenever I think of something that I think might be funny, I jot it down. And these are all things, so that's what I've got on my phone there.
Yeah.
And it's literally just reams and reams of ideas. That's all stuff that I haven't even like touched yet. It's just when I think of something, I'll write it down.
Mine's the same, but content ideas.
Yeah.
It is like little quotes, anything like that. I'll write the same down in notes. I think we need some organisation between those though. Like, because I don't think notes, I think there must be a better app.
Probably. It's dead easy to use.
It's there.
Yeah, aye. But there probably is a better one to use. But I used to it. And I've got a little pad as well that I sometimes carry around with us, and I write little bits in there. Yeah, just little tidbits.
I've got this.
It's good to get your ideas.
I mean, look at all this.
Exactly. Like, because if I think of it and don't write it down, it'll be gone, and I'll forget it completely.
Do you ever get that on a night? Idea. Like, do you know, just before you go to bed?
Oh yeah, all the time. I dream about jokes.
Do you?
And then sometimes I wake up and think, it's quite good, that, and I get my phone, like, can barely see it, and I'm trying to type these ideas in my phone.
And what's Kelly think of that?
She doesn't know. She doesn't
know. She's gone.
Snoring for England.
So from putting yourself out there. Yeah, so from putting yourself out there, because this is what I've went through it myself as well. From putting yourself out there, what's been the top barriers which have come up and how you have overcome them?
Just belief, like self-belief. Because I just doubt myself all the time. I suffer really badly with imposter syndrome, like I do in my day-to-day life as well, with the work and stuff. Like, I always feel I'm not good enough to do stuff.
Okay.
It's weird. Like, even like being at home, I think like, I don't know if I'm good enough to like be a husband and be a dad. And so honestly, it drives me crazy. It's weird. It's weird. So that's probably my biggest stumbling block, just self-belief. And then, but it's weird, like, right up to doing a gig and like sat around other comics and stuff, I'm like doubting it, like this isn't going to work, I'm not going to be able to do it. And then as soon as you do the first joke, it's like, it's all right, this.
Yeah.
Just the first joke. Even if it doesn't get an amazing response, I'm just like, well, I'm up here now, I'm doing it, so let's just crack on. It's weird.
Well, is that not just being a bloke? Like, especially because we're children. Possibly. Because we are just children trapped in bigger bodies.
Aye, true. Much bigger for some of us.
So when we come to, like, say, being husband, parent, all the rest of it, we are still kids ourselves. If you get us.
Yeah. I think with the imposter thing, it always feels like you're going to get, like, it's a feeling that you're going to get found out. Like, that's what it feels like. You feel like you're blagging your way through everything. But I felt like that, like in my day-to-day, like my job and everything. It's so bizarre. It's horrible. I've done like courses and stuff on it to try and get out of it.
Really?
To try and get around it. But I just can't. It's just something in my mind that's like, you're not good enough to do this. You're easily going to get found out soon.
Does that not mean you're growing though? Because you're always reaching these obstacles.
I hope so. I mean, like, it's getting worse the older I'm getting. I didn't used to feel like that.
Right.
So it's probably, I think it's since I became a dad, I think.
Okay.
It's just, but then it just impacts everything else, like all my normal job and stuff.
Aye.
It's so bizarre, honestly. I can't explain it properly. It's a weird thing, but if you look it up, it's a proper thing.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Do you know this? I've actually heard somebody else. Have you heard of Paul Mort? No? Paul Mort? He's like a local, I don't want to kill it off 40 years, like a mentor type mindset guy, but he's like a local bloke. And he's saying, like, stop using the word imposter syndrome. It's not a disease. It's just this thing what we like to build in type thing. But I get it. I understand it. But from that, obviously, I mean, how does it fucking feel? How did that first ever set feel?
Well, it's a bit of a false gig, that, because it's what's called a bringer gig. So all the acts have like also brought the audience as well, because you had to sell tickets to your friends and family.
Yes,
so it was a bit of a false gig, to be honest. So I actually felt amazing, like, because it was in a big room. It was the Stand in Newcastle, so it was like 300 people there. And because we were all new, it was quite a lot. But because we were all new, everyone was really kind of forgiving and like just laughing anyway. So it was a bit of a false gig. So it felt amazing, but it wasn't really a true gig. My second gig was in front of 7 people in a little pub. That felt more real.
Wow.
But I've had loads of them. Still get them now. Yeah. Because especially when you're trying new stuff out, you just go to these little like open mic nights and stuff where there might be 4 or 5 people in. 4 of them might be acts, and then there's 1 punter. So you just come to see it. So it's
just doesn't know where they're at.
Yeah. Well, I had a gig on Wednesday night. I was doing like my very first headline spot, 20 minutes. And there was hardly anyone in. There was 8 acts in, 2 punters. And one of them didn't realise what was going on and hobbled out while I was halfway through my set.
Oh, never.
So I was like, but I felt really bad because there was this old guy on crutches, on like using a walking stick trying to get out, and I couldn't carry on my set. But it was like being really proud, wouldn't accept any help and stuff. So I was literally just watching him walk out. And then as he opened the door, he went, "I'm off to see a comedian." I was like, fucker. So I could have ripped the piss out of him for the last 2 minutes and it took him to walk out.
And he ripped it
but
out
I was trying to be a nice guy and then he dropped that line and fucked off. But I don't know where we were. Oh, first gig. So the first gig was a bit false. It was a bit false, to be honest. But it was amazing. It was amazing.
So how, like, how does it feel going on the stage now? Are you getting used to that little bit more?
Yeah, I get used to it. I still get nervous. Nervous right up until going on. But then the nerves just go. Even if it's a horrendous gig, the nerves just go straight away. Because if it is going to be shit, you know before you go on really if it's going to be good or bad. Right. You get a feel for the room and the vibe and the audience and stuff. So if you think it's going to be bad, it's just like, just treat this as a practice set. Yeah. Yeah, might throw a couple of new jokes or something in, just to try them out.
Does that make you more relaxed then, in a way?
Nah, I think you're more relaxed when it's going well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you're more relaxed when it's going well because obviously you bounce off the crowd and stuff, and it's just it's the best feeling. Right. It is good.
I think I can relate because I've did a seminar for obviously adults, which are easier. They ask questions, and then I've did a seminar on nutrition and health to a school of 15-year-olds. Yeah, who were talking about fucking uncle having a cornflake diet and he lost weight. Yeah. So whatever you're saying is wrong, mister. That kind of thing. Yeah. So, and that was horrible. I'll never ever teach children again. So I get it. So what's the goal with it all, with the comedy? What would be the ideal?
The ideal, and because I wouldn't say I'm a pessimist, but I'm a realist. I'm very realistic with things. But ideally, I'd love to be able to do it full time, for it to be a career. Yeah. And I've seen people who started just like 2, 3, 4 years before me who are like making that step now. But it's also it's a massive field. There's hundreds and hundreds of comics just in our area. Like I think people just think that you start out doing stuff and then you go on TV. It's not like that. Obviously it's not like that.
Yeah, of course.
There's loads of pro comics out there, and I'd love to just be at that level where I'm.
People getting in touch with you.
That happens now.
Right,
so I'm getting contacted now and getting booked for stuff and getting like paid gigs and stuff, which is great. So the ideal goal would be to do it full time and professionally. I don't know how realistic that is, as much of a goal it is.
Why not?
Because there's so many like trying to do that and getting out there.
Better than them, then, isn't it?
I know if it was that easy. Because I mean, I'm doing all right. I am doing all right, but in terms of comedy, I'm still very new.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
like I'm less than 100 gigs in, which to an average Joe might sound like loads of gigs, and it's really not. You've got to be doing like thousands of gigs before you're doing it professionally. And I'm like, 70 gigs in or something.
Right.
So for the level I'm at, I'm doing okay. And I mean, I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
You're quite young for a comic, in a sense, really, isn't it?
I am, to be fair. And the way I look at it is it's a fucking brilliant hobby. That's how I'm looking at it at the minute. Exactly. It's a brilliant hobby that I get a little bit of money for every now and again.
I think if you look at it as like to try and probably, if you went all in trying to like, right, I want millions of pounds, whatever for it, it'll probably never work.
No.
Like if you're chasing the money, but if you're chasing the passion.
Yeah, and I see people doing that. I see people who they'll come to like open mics and they'll do like 5 minutes and they get a few laughs and they think, oh, it's class this. Then they start applying for like headline spots, like gigs and stuff that you can see getting off, and it's like, I wouldn't even dream of like applying for a headline spot yet.
Right. But you did do one. Like, I know you've said it was.
It was a bit different because there's a northeast company like a CIC called Felt and Out, and they're massively pushing like new acts and new comedians and stuff. And it's one of their nights that they do. So it's predominantly just a night where people go out and try new material. Like you can take a little pad on stage with you and read your notes. It's like that laid back, but then they're given like more established newer acts, which is kind of the level I'm at, giving them like the headline spots to try and do little bits like that. So it's not a proper headline gig as such.
Yeah.
People aren't paying to come and see me. It was just a free night in a pub. But yeah, I wouldn't dream of applying for spots like that, because you just get laughed away, and then it just knocks off any chance of getting anywhere with that promoter. Because if you piss a promoter off early doors, they're never going to book you again. Yeah. So you've just got to just know your level. And that's where I'm at.
That's good. Good. That's still on. It's a pain in the arse, that. Hecklers, you mentioned it yourself.
Yeah.
How's them?
Do you know what it is? There's a misconception around hecklers, right? So obviously when you're watching like TV famous comedians and they're doing like theatres and arenas and stuff, they do tend to get quite a lot of heckles, and they'll just have built-in responses that they get. But I think out of the 70 gigs and that I've done, I've probably had 2 heckles in that time. They're not as frequent as you think. Yeah. And certainly in proper comedy clubs like the Stand in Newcastle and Hot Water in Liverpool and stuff, the rule is that you don't heckle. Good. Like if you're in the audience, you can heckle the host or the MC. Yeah. And they tend to say, look, don't heckle the acts. They're pretty new, or they're doing this or they're doing that. If you want to heckle anyone, heckle me. Yeah. And then like they have a bit of like crack on with the MC and stuff. But heckles aren't as frequent as you think in comedy, so you don't get many. I've
been to one comedy show at Durham. It was the Funny Bones. Is it Funny Bones? Is that one like a
They used to. I think it's the Comedy Store now. It goes to Durham. Yeah, right. To the gala.
What Comedy Store was on? I think it was Funny Bones as well. But, and anyway, there was one lad there. He was like trying to heckle every act, and it was like, just shut up, man. Yeah. And then I went and seen Bert Kreischer at Newcastle Arena, whatever arena it was. And there was one guy who heckled at one of the opening acts, and the crowd wanted to get him like. And it was, I found it so disrespectful, because at the end of the day, like in these opening acts, we didn't know who they were. Yeah. But still, just let them just do the job.
Yeah. Especially when the newer acts, because not everyone's like me, but I've got like a proper structured set and a structured routine that I like rehearse. And it's the exact same order every time. And I might have like little throwaway comments that seem that they're off the cuff and they're not. I do them at every gig. But then there's other people that like, they just turn up and go, I'll do that bit and I'll do that bit. And I don't know how they do it. Like it's weird. But they're the ones who deal with hecklers better. Right. Because they can just think of things off the cuff.
I suppose they're putting you off,
Yeah, if I'm like interrupted, I'm like, that
was supposed to be off. But yeah, keep going.
I was in the middle of doing that. Shit, they're throwing us off. What do I do? And that's like where my mind goes. So, but it doesn't happen very often. It doesn't. And if I think of something, I'll react, or I'll just ignore them and just carry on. Brilliant. Which isn't really a good way to deal with hecklers, but it's rather than saying something that's not funny, it's easier to just ignore them.
So. Yeah, as long as they keep them mouth shut. Some Questions podcast.
Oh, Christ, is that coming up, right?
I love it. You know I do. Tell us a bit about it. Might as well. You're on here.
Yeah. So the Some Questions podcast it was just a daft throwaway idea that I had. I was watching Home Alone a few years ago, and I was because I've seen it like every year since since it came out, which is
we all?
91. Yeah. So I've watched. It's probably the film I've seen more than anything. I've seen
Right.
30 odd times now in my life. And I was watching it, and because I know it that well now, I was picking up on little bits, thinking it's ridiculous that they do that, or why do they do that? And I thought, you could probably have some fun with this. So I just messaged a couple of the lads. I was like a couple of mates I've got. I was like, just had this little idea for a podcast, just really about 10 minutes ago, about the way you watch films and just pick up on mistakes, but have a bit of a daft laugh about it. So we both agreed. We rewatched Home Alone again, so I watched it twice within fucking 4 days or something, and just jotted loads of notes down and recorded it as a pilot, and it was loads of fun. We just really enjoyed it, so we turned it into a series. So we just pick really well-known films, watch them, obviously, analyse them, but try and just pick up on ridiculous bits out of it, like stuff that you wouldn't usually maybe pick up on or realise, or things that are just so unbelievable. And then
Grease.
Grease was one of them.
It's practically a porn now
have
to me.
Have I ruined it for you?
I haven't ruined Grease. It's not like one of my top 5 films.
We just pick really well-known films and rip them apart, basically.
I mean, you did get into one of my better films, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
It is now.
Yeah,
yeah. With all the Freeze jokes, you just did pick up
all the Mr. Freeze puns. Yeah, there's something like 25 puns that he throws in throughout the film, and I think he got paid something. It worked out. Did he get paid something like £500,000 for every pun that he said or something? Because he got paid ridiculous money.
Right. Yeah.
But had hardly any words in the film, so we worked it out that he got paid silly money per shit pun.
Any more coming?
Yeah, there is. So we've had a bit of a break, but we've recorded 2 episodes. So we've done Die Hard.
Right.
We've done Dirty Dancing.
Right, yeah, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, we recorded that ages ago.
Right.
And we've watched Saw, but not recorded it yet. And then we've got another 3 to watch and record, and we're hoping to get them out by the end of the year. Right. It's down to me. We've had a big break mainly because of my gigs and stuff. So we've had a massive
And you said
break.
It's a lot of editing, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably about 10 hours worth of editing for each episode, because we pull loads of clips in and sound effects and music and stuff, and try and turn it into a proper podcast, really.
Oh fuck, is this not?
Well, you're on the next. You're doing video. we don't do video yet, because that's what everyone does now, and it's what you really should be doing for good content.
It's just easy.
Aye, true.
It's easy.
True.
There's no editing in this. I don't have to put things in. I mean, I put the little promo bit at the front, but then that's it.
Yeah.
My life's easy.
It's a lot of editing and a lot of time and effort, but I think it's worth it. Is if you listen to it and listen back.
It is now.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It does sound good. It is. It's good fun. It's a good laugh.
I'll look forward to the Dirty Dancing one.
Yeah, God, we had some fun with that.
Yeah, it will be a good night. I know that. I mean, Die Hard, I'm not... I think I watched it when I was younger, and then the Christmas film debate type thing.
Well, we have that debate massively that it is absolutely not a Christmas film, but the other 2 lads said that it absolutely is a Christmas film.
Is it actually Christmas in it, or is it just snow in it?
Does it snow in the first one? I can't remember. It's set around Christmas.
Just checking. Yeah. Just keep talking, sorry. Yeah.
It's definitely set around Christmas. Right. But that doesn't, for me, it doesn't make it a Christmas. I'm going to get fucking really worked up about it.
Did you say Harry Potter's a Christmas film?
Doesn't. Joe, I've never read or watched any of it.
Have you not?
Nah, because I hate, and I know it's not really supernaturally stuff, but I hate that type of stuff. I hate wizards and dragons and.
So not Lord of the Rings?
Nah, not Game of Thrones, none of that shit.
No?
Oh, nah. Drives me crazy. I hate it.
What's your favourite film?
I don't know if I have one, I love comedy films. I think it depends what mood I'm in.
Comedy films are easy to watch, aren't they?
Yeah, but I prefer that. I honestly don't think I've got a favourite film. I don't. I'm more of I prefer TV comedy, comedy shows.
So what's your favourite for them then?
The Office.
The Office,
by a
Some
mile.
questions.
Yeah. Well, that's where that comes from.
I know I've listened to the podcasts.
Yeah,
Mike. I have actually listened to them all, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I forgot to mention that before. That was where that comes. That's a little nod to The Office.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know until I think he's explained on one of the. I think it was like a refresh episode.
Yeah, we
type
just did
thing,
we did like a where we've come from, why we do the podcast kind of. I think that was the last one we did actually. After series 3.
Yeah, he's going down in my list of like updates.
Yeah, because
on
it's
my
been that
podcast
long.
list.
Yeah. We'll be back. Yeah, this year definitely.
Who's your favourite comedian, or who do you like? I mean, who's your favourite comedian, or who do you like get inspiration from as well?
It's probably two-part of this. So my favourite comedian to go and see is Ross Noble.
Yes, yeah.
Who I've loved watching for years now. You could go to his show every night, and loads of it would be different. There's loads of bits that he makes look like he makes it look like it's off the cuff, and it's not. It's like obviously rehearsing stuff. But there's loads of stuff that he does that just is off the cuff, and it amazes me how he does it. It's unbelievable. Like, as a well-known comedian, he's probably my favourite to go and watch. In terms of inspiration, I would say, because I'm quite observational, so it was probably, it seems really obvious, but people like Peter Kay and Jason Manford, like their kind of style, that's similar to what I do, I think, like observational stuff. But now that I see a lot of local live comedy, there's tons of comedians who I'm in awe of when I watch them, because it's just amazing, like seeing what they do. When I go to like big gigs now to see like famous comedians, I look at it through a different set of eyes now. And I don't enjoy it as much, because I'm like, I can second guess where a punchline's coming from, or like stuff that they might make it look is that they're doing on the spot. And I'm like, that's not on the spot. You've like really rehearsed that, and it's ruined it a little bit for us. Like,
but it's good. That's the inspiration, because they're good at that bit, then, isn't it?
And like for 99.9% of the audience, it's like they love it. That's what they're there to see. But because I look at it through different eyes now, it's weird. But local comedians, there's just like I say, I'm in awe of loads of them.
So you've now become a creator rather than a consumer.
Yeah.
And you see it differently.
Yeah, I do. And I do.
So you've ruined comedy for yourself.
I have. I've ruined big TV named comedy for myself.
Right.
But now like grassroots level comedies, which I didn't really know much about, is incredible. Like I would rather go and watch a local act who isn't well known, who's well known locally but not well known on TV. I'd rather go and watch an hour of them at the Stand in Newcastle than go and see Peter Kay at the Arena. Yeah. Now,
is that because you're rooting for them though as well, because you're like sort of in that?
I think so, yeah, and I think because I don't know, because you know them as well. I feel like I like to go and support them and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But I learn, so that every gig I go and see, I learn little bits.
Right.
Like there's a rule, whenever I'm on a bill, I'll be there before the first act's on, and I'll stay right through to the end. So I'll watch like every kind of level. So I'll watch brand new acts, I'll watch like established opening acts, and I'll watch the headliners, just to like, well, it's good to meet new people, but just to just constantly learn from what other people are doing. Whereas other comedians will come, like brand new comedians, they'll do their 5 minutes and then fuck off. And I'm like, you're not going to get anywhere, because if you think that your 5 minutes is all you need to do, you're never going to progress.
Yeah.
You've got to just...
Sounds a bit rude.
Well, I know.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I get it sometimes, because people might travel 2 and 3 hours to do a gig, to do 5 minutes. And I get it that they might need to rush
5 minutes
back.
of practice, 6 hours of travelling to get 5 minutes of practice.
But if you've travelled within half an hour to go to a gig, just stick around, like support the other new acts, and then learn from the established ones.
Yeah.
And I love doing that. Honestly,
Well, you're getting your hours in. You put like, it's the same in any single thing. If you're putting all them hours in, all that hours learning and stuff like that, you're going to come out on top and hopefully become the professional
definitely.
you'd like to be.
And I'd love to be able to like MC a gig and host a gig, but I would crumble doing that at the minute.
What, the
like,
introducing
where you're hosting it, because that's where you do most of the crowd work, and crowd work's not my thing. I just get up, do my jokes, and then go. I would love to do it, but I'm just, not confident enough yet. But that's why I watch others and try and like, pick up bits.
Are them more like, I don't know what the word is, where they use the body language more? Like...
It's not that, because I use
I can imagine an MC running on and stuff like that.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to be high energy, which my natural persona isn't like that, because I'm really socially awkward around people all the time. So to the fact that I get up and do this on stage, it's just bizarre. But when I'm on stage, I've got like loads of body language and stuff. I'm like a completely different person when I'm up there. But to be an MC and a host, you just gotta, even if you're having like a shit night and it's not going well, you've really just gotta like look like you're really, really at the top of your game and enjoying yourself massively.
Like me at 6:15 in the morning.
Exactly that, yeah. Yeah, it's true. Well, it is really, yeah. Because there'll be times where you feel like you can't be asked, but if you feel like you can't be asked, then
never.
Everyone else
I'm always here. But I get,
because it rubs off. It rubs off on everybody else. It's the same as a comedy room. If the person hosting the night looks like they can't be asked, then the audience can't be asked. Yeah. It just ruins it for everybody.
Meant. So, where are we at? Nearly through, Mike.
Are we?
So, yeah, we are. That's 31 minutes in there. So, but I don't have a time limit, by the way.
I don't know.
This might take even longer. Don't worry.
If there's anything to add on, just add it on.
I don't know, actually. Do you know when I'm thinking, when you're talking, I'm thinking, I'll ask that, and ask that, and then I forget.
And then I keep rambling on.
No, it's good.
You know what you need to do? Write it down in your phone.
I know I do, don't I? Well, everyone keeps telling us to use this AIC, whatever.
Have you used it?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's scary. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Nah.
Okay.
Well, you telling you to use it for what?
For like blogs and stuff like that. Like if you've got ideas for blogs or training plans and stuff like that. But
I don't know. Try it and see what you think. It's scary, I think.
Is it?
It's weird. It's weird.
I mean, one of my mates, like, he is quite funny. So he wrote up he did a total one about one of my other friends in school about how he was scared to get on stage. It was an absolute bullshit story, but he just made it up and like how he became from a monkey to a gorilla type thing and all that. But it was brilliantly wrote out. It was a nice story, but that's the only thing I've seen of it. But business guy was talking to us about it and that, and somebody else was talking to us about it. I think it's these social people who I follow who are saying you're going to get behind and stuff like that with it, but I haven't tried it yet.
It's scary. It is.
Is it?
Give it a go though.
I'll give it a go. So, what would you say or advice to anyone wanting to follow their passion?
Just do it, but don't wait nearly 20 years to do it.
Right.
Just go for it. But it depends what the passion is. Like, I mean, if it's someone else looking to get into comedy,
cocaine.
Just not really something I've ever dabbled with. Well, it absolutely isn't. Even though I look like I've got a really sore nose, but I've had a cold. I've got like a fucking Daniela Westbrook vibe going on, but just because I've been blowing my nose that much. Just go for it. But if it's comedy, because I can use that as an example, obviously, because I can relate to it. But just be realistic with it. So like, look for people that are having little open mic nights, jot some ideas down, try it out. I don't try anything in front of like friends or family or anything like that. Yeah. Because they'll tell you it's good even if it's not. So I don't practice any material on Kelly or mates or anything.
Brilliant, yeah.
I'll just say if you want to see it, then come and watch us.
Yeah. How did I do have a question. So how did like, do you know how you have to share your own social media stuff? Do you know what I mean? Like you see my face every fucking where.
Yeah.
How do you feel doing that? Don't know why that's going off.
Do you know what it is? I've got a personal page, right? But then I've got a comedy page as well, like Mike Wardley comedy that I try and update. And it feels a bit wanky updating the Mike Wardley comedy one because it's like, should I even have that? Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
but there's people that have come to watch me on gigs that followed that page, who I wouldn't really want as friends on my normal page. So I feel like I've got to have them separate. I feel fine sharing it on my personal page because everyone's really supportive and they'll share stuff and like stuff and you've done loads of people share it and stuff. But then putting like a gig list or a little video or something on the comedy page, I don't know. Yeah, it feels a bit wanky, but it feels like something like I've got to do. Yeah.
I suppose you
Yeah,
do.
it's weird.
Do you know what the trouble is with it? So it's a business page, isn't it? Like a
Yeah, effectively, yeah.
So those pages, Facebook's a complete dick, and it'll never push them. You get more interaction, more shares, whatever, through your personal than you do that, because obviously they want you to spend advertising money on it. But you need that in case you ever do want to advertise.
Yeah.
Because you can't obviously pay to boost your own personal.
Yeah, it's weird how Facebook works as well, because this might sound boring, so I might need to edit this out. No. This is the marketing in me coming out. The way that Facebook works is like, especially on business pages, when you push a post out, it just monitors what kind of interaction that you're getting. So if you get quite a lot of people liking it straight away, initially all it'll do is open your post up to about 5% of the people who follow your page initially. And then if it gets a little bit of interaction, then it opens up to 7% and then 10%. And like, it's all down to like interaction and algorithm. I hate the word algorithm, but that is exactly what it is.
But it is the algorithm, yes.
And it, like interaction's key. So like whenever anyone's like liking stuff on your page, just give them a little thumbs up or thanks for coming or whatever. And that opens it up a little bit wider. And it's shit that you've got to do that, but it's just because it's all revenue based, isn't it? Revenue focused. Don't even know why I told you that, because you use all the time.
90% of my job's marketing.
Yeah.
It is. But yeah, it like, yeah. But do you think you'll ever do like little sketches on there then?
Funny you should say that.
Or like YouTube or something like that, like putting little, just shorts, something like that.
Like,
do you know
clips
what I mean?
of what I've done, or like
well, both.
Or sketches.
Little sketches as well.
I'm literally just last night, I'm being confirmed to do like a sketch thing in a couple of months' time in Newcastle. But I have no idea what that sketch is going to be.
Okay.
It's something I've wanted to do for ages, but I haven't got a clue where to start.
Right.
So I need to think of it like a premise and an idea, and then think about how that'll work in a sketch. But then it needs to work not just video, but as an audio version, because we're trying to push someone out onto BBC Radio Newcastle. They're like helping do stuff. So it's not anything I've ever done.
Right.
But I am getting into that. In terms of video clips and stuff, I don't do that yet. And I think it's mainly because I don't have loads of material.
Right.
And it's for any professional comedians, it's a must, like, get a TikTok channel set up and just put little clips on, because comedy's massive on TikTok. It's just going crazy, like podcasts and comedy. Because I think I've probably only got about 20, 25 minutes of solid material. Right. Which is quite a lot. Like 5 or 10 minutes would be the norm for someone at my level. I don't really want to be sharing that, because if people come and see us, they'll know it. They're very likely to see that. So if I push 10 videos out and then someone comes and sees me, they've seen pretty much my whole set. Right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I'm not at that level yet to push clips out, I don't think.
Just needs to be clips of scaring Kelly or something like that.
I mean, I do love, I scare the kids all the time. I could do stuff like that.
Shit like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, then last one then. When's the next gigs and how do people find you?
So the next gigs, well, locally, what have I got? I'm going to have to get my phone out. Sorry,
This will be
it's
out
really
next
unprofessional,
Sunday,
isn't it?
Just to let you know.
Right.
So think of it like,
That's fine.
I don't know what the date is now. I mean, we can pretend it's the 9th of April now.
Right. Yeah, I've got my gig list. So I've got one in Billingham at the end of April, which is quite a decent one actually. So it's in a big venue in Billingham. It's with, which some people might know, Danny Posthill is hosting it. So he was on Britain's Got Talent. He was an impressionist on Britain's Got Talent. Right. Got to the finals, did really well. So he's like a proper pro comedian. So I'm on with him and then a couple of other local acts. That's in Billingham. I've got, I suppose the out of area ones aren't.
Really doesn't matter, just whack them on.
Yeah.
We get this is national list, man.
Oh, of course it is, man.
Yeah,
of course it is.
Our 50 views is from all over the world.
Yeah, of course. I'm at a place called Top Cliff, which is like over Ripon Way. Right. But that's it's a really good promoter. So it's Hilarity Bites who does those gigs. He's a good promoter to be in with, and I'm getting quite a few bookings through him now. So started doing like an open spot for him, and if he likes what you do, then he starts like, he adds you to his mailing list and then starts booking you for other gigs. I'm getting booked for stuff with him. I'm in Peterlee for the same guy in June the 2nd.
Yeah.
Then I'm back at the Stand in Newcastle. So the Stand every week do Red Raw, which is for new acts. So they'll have an established headliner and a proper like host MC, but then they get like newer acts just doing 5 or 10 minutes throughout the night. It's an amazing night. It sells out. There'll be like 300 people in there. Mint. So I'm doing that on June the 28th and again on August the 2nd. And then I'm doing my first opening slot in Newton Aycliffe on the 17th of August. So that'll be a 20-minute spot. So the way that it works is normally you'll have an established act doing the opening bit, then you'll have a newer act in the middle, and then you'll have your headliner. Yeah. So normally I do like the middle spots, but like I'm making that step into the opening one. So yeah, that's in August. So there's half a dozen gigs coming up. And all the links will be on the Facebook page. So Mike Wardley, Mike Wardley Comedy.
So you've got to keep that updated now.
Mike Wardley Comedy, they'll be on there.
Do you have Instagram or TikTok? Are you into TikTok yet?
I'm on TikTok, but not really for any comedy stuff. It's daft stuff with the kids, to be honest. So if you want to see us pissing around with the kids, then give us a follow on TikTok. Again, I'm on Instagram. I don't really use it. Right, okay. I probably
You've got to be fucking everywhere.
Oh, I know you do. And Instagram's probably one of the biggest ones, but I just don't use it.
You do have a family and a full-time job as well.
True, yeah, and that does take a lot of time up. Yeah, thinking that I'm not good enough for them all.
And obviously, and obviously some questions podcast.
And the podcast. Christ, I'm busy, aren't I? Yeah. But the all the links will be on the Facebook page.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, sir.
It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it.
It has.
Cheers.
Mint.